Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Music and Beyond. I'm Ernie Crazy Eyes. Today I have Chab from the Failsafe band. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, man. Just living life. What about you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited to
Good.
talk to you because I've been keeping up with you guys through social media, and man, you guys are going in hot right now.
It's a spicy time, that's for sure.
You guys are with Drowning Pool right now. Am I correct?
We just wrapped up our final show of the Drowning Pool tour on Sunday.
Oh, okay. So how was that, man? Like,
You know,
like touring with one of the biggest bands out there right now.
it was pretty surreal. It was an incredible experience. We got to see parts of the country that we had never seen before. And the other bands that we toured with, they were all just incredible, both as people and as musicians. And it was just kind of an eye-opening experience to be like, damn, we want to do this more. Like we want to get out there and do this on a more regular basis at this level and beyond. So it was really an eye-opening kind of kick in the pants experience to be like, all right, we want to do this. So
That
sorry, my
that
my alarm just went off there.
You're good. Yeah, man. I actually had CJ on here a couple of months ago, and I was just like, "Holy crap! I can't believe he's on the other side, on the other line."
CJ was super cool, man. He would like to grab us, pull us aside, talk to us, do shots with us, and stuff like that. So he was a character, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, for sure. And your new single "Wolves," I've been listening to it, and can you talk to me about the inspiration behind the song and what themes and messages did you guys aim to capture in it?
Yeah, so Wolves is kind of like, man. So it's about like I guess you can say like your inner demons, and things that kind of consume you and take you over, and having the ability to fight that and get through that. People deal with demons every day. Whether it's alcoholism, something like as intense as alcoholism or drug abuse, or even something like people who obsess over cleaning their house. You know what I mean? We all have our obsessions. We all have our addictions. We all have our things, and it's just about that struggle of overcoming that and getting through that and the chaos that ensues amidst those type of situations. And so it was just a song that we wanted to release about those type of things because I don't think it gets talked about enough, and it doesn't really necessarily. And if it does, it's not. And the people write about it, but it doesn't get talked about enough, I feel like. And so we're very open to the point of like, this is what the meaning is. Let's talk about it. Let's make people aware of these things. Know that there's support. Know that there's help. And so, as kind of like dark of a song as it is, I guess our end result is to create hope in people who are going through these type of things.
That's great, man. Yeah, like I'm the type of person that loves to like kind of like, okay, he said this. What is he trying to say? Like, so I kind of digest every lyric whenever I listen to a band. So I definitely have Wolves on my playlist because I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna need this song soon. So, well, not like I'm planning my like, like a breakdown or something, or
Yeah.
but sometimes we just have like our terrible days, and it kind of just breaks us.
Oh, for sure. I mean, music. Lord knows, music has saved me plenty of times, and so that's kind of another way at least I personally view the band is like it's kind of like my way to give back to music because music has done so much for me. Bands that I love that have helped me through tough times. Like now, I am in a position to where I could be a part of creating music that helps other people get through those tough times, and that's something very important and very special to me, and something that I really take pride in what we do.
Yeah, and on behalf of the disability community, because we all go through our little, like people here, like I feel like in the disability community, like we're not allowed to do so many things, so we just kind of like depression is like our only friend. So I want to thank you on behalf of the disability community because music is very powerful, and you guys are writing powerful music for us.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. That means a lot. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and how has Wolves been like when you guys play it live? How has been the overall reaction over it?
Honestly, it's been going great. I mean, I mean, it's a banger. Like it's got this nasty. I love. It's probably my favorite song to play right now in our live set because it's just got this nasty groove to it. It's just kind of funky. It's got like I don't know how do I describe it. It's like this grimy, groovy, like almost seductive kind of beat and rhythm to it. And so it's super fun to play. It's definitely a different song, at least rhythmically than the other things. And of course, I'm going to talk more so about the drums because I'm the drummer. So that's just kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. It's going over well. Like you get a lot of people headbanging and just moving to it because it's got that kind of like not addictive, but like what's the word I'm looking for? It catches people and gets them to start moving. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
connects
yeah,
with
yeah.
them in a certain way.
It's got that rhythm to it, like.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yep. But it's been really well received on the tour. People love it. Multiple people have come up to say, we love that song, or what was that song you guys played before the last one? That was the one. And so it's been really cool to see it translate from a recording to a live situation, and people are enjoying it just as much.
Yeah,
So,
I really hope you guys make it down to the RGV really soon. Honestly, I wanna
oh
see you
man,
guys perform.
you and me both.
And touring with Drowning Pool is no small like feature. But what challenges did you guys face on the road, and how has the band managed to overcome them? Now that you guys are done with the tour.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we've already had our horror stories on the road, where it was filled with breakdowns and miscommunications and all kind of stuff. From like a logistical standpoint, there was no issues. Knock on wood, we got to every venue fine. Our vehicle held up. Um, there was no like logistical problems. Thank God.
Yeah,
Because like I said, we've been through some horror stories before, and from that standpoint, no complaints, man. Like I said, knock on wood a million times, and we were fine and we were good. So that was a great highlight, is that nothing went wrong in that regard. We know that Drowning Pool's bus had some issues. We know that Above Snakes, which is another band that we toured with, that was on the tour, they had some vehicle issues, and we didn't. We were able to get to and from where we needed to just fine. So we lucked out.
that's awesome, dude. I'm glad. Like, yeah, I always hear about these horror stories with musicians and stuff. I'm like, damn, like that sucks.
Oh man,
Like,
yeah.
I guess that's the only thing that I say. Like, man, that sucks. Like, I've never been in that position, so.
Oh, it's the worst feeling because like you feel like you're letting people down and it's beyond your control. Like you don't know when your vehicle's going to break down.
That's true.
It's just one of those things. And all of a sudden, next thing you're broken down 4 hours away from the venue. There's nothing you can do, which has happened to us. And there's not a big enough apology to send to people because like you feel like you're letting them down, and that's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, for sure. And with when you were growing up and stuff, like, was drumming always, on your mind that you wanted to be a drummer, or was it different?
Oh man, so I mean, I believe it or not, I actually started it off on piano back when I was 5-ish or so. And drums was actually one of the last instruments I learned. I started off on piano, went to guitar, went to bass, and then went to drums. So oddly enough, I feel for myself that bass is actually my best instrument. But lo and behold, I've been playing drums pretty consistently for the past 7 years now, 6 years now, something like that. But man, I've been banging on pots and pans since I could grab like a wooden spoon. Like that's been in me. My parents got tell me stories and pictures of like I was just always drumming on stuff. And then for my 16th birthday, my parents didn't buy me a drum set. They allowed me to buy a drum set, which sounds kind of weird.
Wow.
Which sounds kind of weird because like they were very like oh God, this is gonna make noise. But I bugged them and I bugged them and I bugged them. And they were finally like, okay, fine, for your 16th birthday, we're not going to buy it. You got to earn it, but we will allow you to have a drum set. And that was probably one of the best gifts they could have ever given me.
That's amazing. I love that, dude. And, here you are now.
Yeah, it's crazy. However many years later, and it's a bit of a different feeling going from playing in the garage to playing in front of several hundred people a night. It's pretty surreal. I'm not gonna lie. Like I imagine those. I can envision playing concerts when I was in the garage, and now I'm actually doing it. So it's definitely surreal and a very cool thing.
Hell yeah, music is love, and love is music.
Dude, exactly.
And where does the name the Failsafe come from? Does it have any meaning?
I love this question. No, we literally were trying to come up with a band name, and we each threw a bunch of ideas in the mix, basically. And the Failsafe was just kind of the one that spoke to us more, I guess. I don't even remember what the other ones were because they were all horrible. But this one stuck with us the most, and it just seemed to kind of fit. But is there like a deeper meaning behind it? Nope. It's just a name.
No.
It's simply just a name.
Yeah, I remember I discovered you guys on TikTok, and I followed you guys, and I followed you guys because I was like, that's a weird name. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get him on the podcast soon. And then I started listening
Yeah.
to the music, and I'm like, I like it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because like a lot of people will ask like, what's the deeper meaning and what's the story behind it? It's like there really is no story. We just came up with it and thought it was cool, and that was that. So.
And how would you describe the Failsafe dynamic, both on stage and off stage?
On stage, like we take a lot of pride in our on stage performances. Like you guys can't, because one of my biggest pet peeves, and I would almost say one of our biggest pet peeves as a band, is going to watch bands play that just play the music and don't give you a show. You know what I mean? Like if I wanted to hear your music, I would just stay at home and stream it on Spotify, but I'm coming to see you play because I want to see a show. Entertain me. And so, our guys are, obviously I'm stuck behind a drum set. There's not much I can do, but I'm making faces and I'm yelling and I'm playing my ass off. I am a sweaty beast by the time I'm off that drum set. Looks like I'm having fun. But our guitar player and our singer and our bass player, they're running around like crazy. They're doing guitar flips. They're doing twists. They're doing jumps. Like, we really aim to give you a memorable experience visually as well as sonically when you come watch the Failsafe. That is a 100% goal of ours, is that we assault your senses both visually and sonically.
Damn, that's wild.
And then off stage, we're all a bunch of nerds,
Yeah, nerds, yeah.
it's kind of the running theme, you know what I mean? Like, we all have our normal jobs that we still do, so there's nothing exciting there. We all have our own interests and hobbies. Like Kyle, our guitar player, is really into pickleball. I'm really into shooting pool and playing Magic the Gathering. I know, super nerdy, but we're all just a bunch of dorks and nerds that love to play music.
That's awesome. I don't know why, but you guys gave me a Big Bang Theory vibe.
Kind of, not gonna lie. If you heard some of the conversations in our tour vehicle, we're on the road for 6 or 7 hours. They get a little nerdy and dorky and nutty. So yeah, man.
I love that, dude. That's amazing. And how does the band usually approach songwriting? And was it any different with like the band Wolves, with the song Wolves?
100%. So up until the song Ghost of You, we were a self-contained unit. Meaning we produced everything ourselves, we recorded everything ourselves, all of that was done in-house. And we got to a point to where like we kind of felt we reached the limit of what we could do on our own. And so we started seeking outside production and songwriting help. And so with Ghost of You, we actually worked with a producer by the name of Sahaj, who really pushed us to help writing a better song. And then they did. I mean, Ghost of You is an amazing song. It's probably one of our top streamed songs and top watched videos. And then we're like, okay, let's take this even to the next level. Let's do more and working with outside people that could help bring out the best of us. And so we, for 3 songs, we worked with Andrew Bayless, and Wolves is one of those songs. We flew down to Nashville for a week and worked with him and his team. and they just pushed us and helped create with us, and it just really brought out the best in what we were capable of doing beyond what we could do on our own. And so because of that, it's just resulting in songs that are just what I feel are the best things that we've put out to date. And it's because we're working with these outside producers that this is all they do, is they help people create and write. And Andrew Bayless was just a godsend in terms of being able to push us and his creativity and how he works in the studio to create these amazing songs.
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of got thrown off guard because when I was listening to the music, like like once I got to Wolves, I'm like, whoa, this is different.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if you listen to our first record, Erasing Color, all the way through, and then you start listening to the newer songs, like it's a pretty noticeable difference in terms of the quality of the song itself and the quality of production. And we attribute that to the producers that we work with. I mean, that's why they're there, and it's awesome, and I'm thrilled to work with them in the past and thrilled to work with more in the future.
Yeah, and I love it because like it caught me off guard, but it didn't like, oh, is this a different band? Because they sound different. Like it sounds different, but I still know it's you guys.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted, And I think that's another trap. And I think a lot of bands, especially up and coming bands, I completely understand the want to do everything yourself. I get it. It's a pride thing and stuff like that. But why wouldn't you want to work with someone better than you to make you better? You know what I mean? Like if you were an athlete, for example, you want to play with people who are better than you because it's going to make you better. Same with music. Why wouldn't I want to write with someone who could write better than me because they're going to help improve me and make us better? So I think that's a common thing that a lot of up-and-coming bands or intermediate bands don't get. It's like, well, I want to write and do everything myself, and say, okay, cool, but you're not going to get better. You got to work with people better than you to help improve what you can do and improve your final product.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, I mean, plus you get to go to cool places. You know what I mean? Like we went to Nashville, for crying out loud, to work with someone. I've never been to Nashville before, and that was just such a cool experience overall.
I went there once and I tried moonshine for the first time.
Oh my god! Like legit moonshine, like that a guy made in his bathtub, or like
yeah, like literally the guy had just finished making it.
Man, I've had some of that before. I thought my insides were gonna burn through my body. It was intense.
Dude, honestly, I just took a sip because my dad was like, no, don't chug it or anything like that. You do a beer, just take a little small sip. I'm like, all right, I guess.
And did you have the same thing where it tasted like you're drinking gasoline?
Yeah, totally.
Dude, bad news. Sure. I'm glad I've done it to say I've had legit moonshine. Will I ever do it again? Probably not.
Yeah, same. I'll stick to my regular beer.
Exactly. Yeah, that doesn't burn so much. Yeah.
With the success of Wolves, it's number one right now on the most listening on the Failsafe.
Mm-hmm.
What can we expect from the Failsafe? Is there an EP or an album in the horizon?
That's a conversation we are going to be having, because initially we were under the mindset of we were just going to release singles, and then when there was enough singles together, we would combine them and just do like a secondary EP release. Because we're in the age of instant gratification. You know what I mean? People want something new on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But we've also heard some other arguments recently of, maybe it'd be a good idea to build up a back catalog of stuff and release a bunch of stuff all together. So we're kind of on the fence about that. We're not sure what direction we want to go. We're going to be seeking some advice from some people in the industry that we met on this last tour who are very gracious enough to offer their consulting to us because they just like the product of the Failsafe and want to help out. So we're not sure. I mean, we definitely have another single in the works that we're going to be releasing probably let's say sometime early next year, potentially. But the song is done. Actually, for anyone who subscribes to our Patreon, it's actually available there to listen to. But in terms of from a public standpoint, we're still fishing around some ideas of what we want to do. But beyond that, we're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense to help us get to that next level? Does it make more sense for us to keep putting singles out? Should we hold off on releasing music and then come at you with like a smack in the face, like a full album? We're trying to figure those things out right now in terms of what makes the most sense.
Yeah, I totally get it because my friends from the last days of war, they released singles like the whole year or for like a year and a half already, and they're releasing an album next month with all the singles plus like two or three more songs.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So again, we're just trying to figure that out, and not only from a fan standpoint, but from like a logistical standpoint. What can we afford to do? Because man, being in a band is expensive. I mean, trying to make it in a band is expensive from a multiple aspects. It's expensive from a financial aspect. It's expensive from a time aspect because it takes a lot of your time. It's expensive from an emotional aspect because it just takes a lot out of you. Because I feel like if you're trying to be in a band that's run well, it's the greatest combination of business and personal mix-up that exists, period. It's everything's emotional, but it's all business. And I can't think of another business that exists in the world that involves this much emotion in it as well. And so there's a lot of things we just got to figure out. Goodness, I mean, we're not stopping or even thinking about quitting. Like, I don't want to give that impression. No.
Yeah.
We're just trying to figure out what makes the most sense for us to reach a bigger audience and for more people to have the ability to enjoy our art and appreciate our art and put us in a position so we can share it with more people.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And honestly, like, trust me, I've thought about quitting podcasting so many times, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta do this interview, or oh, I gotta listen, and I'm just like, you know what, like, I gotta do it because this is what I love to do, and
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we wouldn't do this if we didn't love it because it's the stupidest thing to possibly do.
yeah, it's like, well, we know what to do, so we gotta do it.
Yeah. My running joke is that we're too, how to say it, we're dumb and stubborn. We're too dumb to know this is a dumb industry to get into, but we're too stubborn to give up. You know, so we're a perfect combination of dumb and stubborn.
Yeah, I totally feel that there.
So,
and
yeah.
what are some of the biggest musical influences, and how do you guys shape the sound to identify of the Failsafe, or the identity of the Failsafe?
Yeah, so for the fail, I would say we all have our own individual influences, but as a band, we drew a lot from like, oh, my brain just went dumb. Like bands like Linkin Park for sure, because they were one of the first to kind of do that hybrid of electronic versus rock instrumentation. Bring Me the Horizon is a big one. Icy Stars is a big one. Early Paris is a big one. And then just paying attention to what's on the pulse of modern music, like Bad Omens is a big one, things like that. On a personal level, I honestly got my drumming chops from playing punk rock music. So that's how I learned to drum, was from playing like NoFX, Green Day, Rancid, Anti-Flag, Rise Against. That's where I got a lot of my drumming chops from, way back in the day. And then obviously each one has their own personal taste. But those bands that I mentioned a little bit ago, those are probably some of the bigger influences on us holistically as a band.
Yeah, that's awesome. I just recently got into Bad Omens. I'm like, whoa, why haven't I been avoiding them?
Yeah, they're awesome, and they're just as good live. I've had the ability to see them live, and they are amazing as well. Same with I love Wage War, and I've been able to see them several times, and they just blow me away every time live. I love a band where you love the music, and then you go see them, and you're like, oh my God, that's so much better than the recording. Like, that's those bands. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking about earlier, they give you a show, they give you an experience. You're not just listening to music; they're entertaining you to the core. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I got that from In This Moment because I was so confused. I'm like, why is she doing all this extra stuff? And now that you're saying that, I'm like, oh, I get it. She's giving us a show, like not just the music.
In This Moment is a prime example of that. I mean, their music sounds great, but you go to a live show, love it or hate it, you're going to be entertained. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It was a great show, though.
Yeah. Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah.
And as a band that's been gaining a lot of momentum, what advice would you give to other up-and-coming bands to try to make their mark in the rock metal scene?
Yeah, sure. Probably the best piece of advice I could give you is that actually creating music is actually the smallest part of being in a successful band. Obviously, you want to create great music, and that is the core of it, but you have to treat it like a business if you're serious about it. You have to be on top of your social media game, right? You have to be making reels. You have to be making posts. You have to be interacting with people that follow you and encouraging them to spread the word. You have to be in charge of and take care of your finances and look what you can and can't afford because you're going to have to spend money. So there's so many other attributes outside of just making music that are involved in being in a successful band. That's what you want to do. Now, if you just want to make music on the weekends and play local shows here and there, sure, go for it. That's awesome. But if you really want to make it, you have to embrace it and treat it like a business and do the things that are necessary for a business to be run. And so like in our band, for example, everyone has their part of the machine. You know, we kind of jokingly call it the machine because it's multiple members doing multiple things outside of music that keep the band rolling and improving. So I guess that would be the biggest piece of advice is if this is what you want to do for your life and for your living, you have to treat it like a business. You have to treat it like a machine. And unfortunately, making of the music, though, is a vital element. It's probably the smallest element of that working machine.
That was so deep, man. That was deep.
But it's the truth. I mean, it's, you know, the music, actual creation of the music is the thing we spend the least amount of time on. It's all of our reels and our posts and our interactions and our submissions to reviews and stuff like that. That takes up all the time, and arguably that's more important because that's what's going to get you seen and heard. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I've honestly, for me personally, like I still ask people on Facebook, like, hey, anybody want to do an interview? But lately, I've just been like, okay, what band am I gonna listen to today? And then let's say Failsafe, like, oh, let me reach out to one of those guys and see if they want to do an interview. And that's how I get my interviews now, like through TikTok.
Yeah, and that's a great way of doing it because the more that you do that, you're going to get more notoriety. More people are going to start recognizing who you are. You're going to start getting bigger bands that you're going to reach out to, and they're going to start wanting to reach back. Like I said, it's like a machine. You know, you put in the work, and then it'll start to work for you. So I think that's great that you're doing that. That's awesome.
I was gonna say the emptiness machine. I was gonna quote Linkin Park since we were talking about them earlier.
I'm not gonna. I like the new singer. I mean, obviously she's not Jester, but I think she does what she does well, and I think she's going to continue to get better. So I know a lot of people are like, no, I don't know. I'm personally a fan. I'm just going to put it out there. I think she's doing a great job.
Yeah, I like her. I feel like it brings a little different taste, a different type of Linkin Park into it.
Yeah.
But it's not a cover band, guys. It's not a cover band.
No. So I'm excited to see what kind of new music they come out with her now doing some vocals. I mean, obviously the 2 songs they've released I thought were really solid, so I'm definitely excited to see what more they do.
Wait, there's 2 songs?
Yeah, there was something thrown, something.
Oh, Heavy as a Crown.
Heavy as a Crown, yeah.
I totally forgot to listen to that song.
That's a banger. That's a great song.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
And I like to end every interview with this question. If you were stuck in an elevator with any musician, dead or alive, who would it be and what would you talk about?
Oh my God, that's a great question. Oh, okay. I would because I grew up starting, like, my first introduction to music was the Beatles. I would have to go with Paul McCartney of the Beatles and just be like, you know what, man, I don't care what you talk about, just talk to me. Tell me your stories. Tell me your life. How did this, you know what I mean? Just because he's he's a freaking Beatle. And Beatles, there's never been a band with we could throw Michael Jackson in there, obviously, but in terms of like a band, there's never been and there never will be someone as influential across the world as the Beatles. And so I would just love to get his opinion and outtake on life, and just let Sir Paul McCartney talk to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, honestly.
Oh God, yeah, totally.
And where can we find you guys?
Oh, we're on all the socials. You know what I mean? So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, the X or Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. We're all over the place. There's some variances there, but if you just go to wearethefailsafe.com, it'll give you a plug to all of our socials. You can buy our merchandise. You can see when and where we're playing. You can keep up to us. On our Facebook, we actually have a Facebook fan group called the Only Fails, kind of a joke spin-off of OnlyFans, haha.
Yeah.
But it seems to work. But yeah, I mean, sign up for that. I'm pretty active on that and interacting, but we're on all the socials. We're there. You know, worst comes to worst, just Google the Failsafe Band YouTube, and it'll bring us up for you. So, and we appreciate and seriously love every single like and follow that we get. Like, we keep track of that stuff, and we know when it's moving up. And so we are incredibly appreciative of anyone who follows or likes or anything, because that helps tremendously. You know, one like is huge for us. One share is huge for us. Don't think we take that for granted. We look at that stuff under a microscope, and we are genuinely and sincerely thankful for anyone that follows, likes, reposts, anything like that, because we see it and it means a lot to us. So to those listening, if you haven't liked us or followed us and starting now, thank you. We tremendously appreciate it.
I want to thank you for joining me today, and I want to thank everybody for listening. Check out the Failsafe on all streaming platforms, and remember that without music, life would be a mistake.